Hello, welcome back to Moveeno. Today, I'm going to recap the 2011 movie titled Départ. Sit back and enjoy. The film begins as two black men with distinct underwear are being auctioned off. With chains by their necks, it looks like they are at a slave market. Following this, the film returns into a flashback where everything began. It rotates around two alienated stepbrothers, Regis and Joel, from the West Indies who have totally different lives. Joel is a monoracial man, fresh out of jail after serving his time for stealing an elderly person's purse. As of now, he lives with his mom and his 9-year-old little girl. He is always jobless and blames racism for every one of his hardships, particularly his joblessness. However, he has never been serious finding work. Alternatively, Regis is a biracial man who is married to a white woman and has a 9-year-old daughter with her. Regis resides in an affluent town and is well integrated into upper-class society. He is employed at the local town hall and works as an assistant to the mayor. One day, Regis' uncle calls and tells him that his father is dying, and it's his final wish to meet all his children. However, Regis pays no regard to his deadbeat father because he wasn't around when he was a child. He has dinner with his family instead. But his crazy wife threatens to cheat on him if he doesn't visit his father, so Regis decides to visit him. Reluctantly, he agrees with no choice left. The next day, Regis takes a flight to where his father resides in his hometown. At the airport, he runs into Joel, who has also come to see their father. The brothers, who have been out of contact for more than a decade, put their differences aside and hire a taxi together. They catch up on the way to their father's home in the taxi. Regis tells Joel about his successful life, while Joel lies to cover up his failures to avoid being embarrassed. When they reach their father's home, they are introduced to their aunt and several half-sisters. This is because their dad had relations with countless women around the world. This is the reason why Joel and Regis have different skin colors. The old man's eyes light up after seeing his only two sons before him. Before he died, he told Regis and Joel that they will inherit a great treasure. The brothers are excited upon hearing this, and they eagerly wait to hear about the treasure. However, to their surprise, they were given a document of emancipation of their ancestors as their inheritance. This is the document given to a few slaves by their owners for some extraordinary work. Apparently, Regis and Joel's ancestors were given freedom long before slavery was legally abolished in the West Indies. However, not concerned about the symbolic value of this piece of paper, they shrug it off. The brothers are angry and tear the paper off right before the very eyes of their late father's sister. This enraged the old woman, so she decides to teach the brothers a lesson by casting a voodoo spell on them and sending them back to the 17th century where slavery is still active. In the next scene, when Regis and Joel wake up, they find themselves in an open field. As they wonder about what happened to them, a few black dudes run past them. It wasn't long before two slave hunters also arrived and captured the two brothers. They are then taken to a slave market and sold to Monsieur Jourdain, a landowner. Jourdain puts Joel on the farm where he will work under the care of Henry, a brutal and racist foreman. Regis is sent to the kitchen of the residence. The brothers soon discover that they have actually time traveled to 1780 into the era of slavery. The next day, the slaves are forced to listen to a priest who reads a fake Bible to them about how black people should obey the whites. But because the brothers can read, they refuse to agree with the content. The priest is surprised as Regis as he read him a line from the book. Later in the day, Joel shows up late to the field and gets hit by Henry. As Joel gets fed up with Henry's torture and behavior, he tried to escape the farm but ends up hitting his head on a pole, knocking himself out. He is then punished in front of everyone for what he did. Later that night, Regis is called to Monsieur Jourdain's office where his capability to read is acknowledged. Jourdain praises him for being a clever slave and gives him the privilege to control the other slaves with Henry. In the interim, Joel is getting his wounds treated with the aid of a female slave, Rosalie. It's been only a few minutes being together, but Joel has already begun to like her. At an opportune moment, he tried to kiss her but gets turned down. Rosalie then pointed out that she is in love with a fellow slave named Isidore, only to disappoint Joel. The next day, Regis embarks on his new duty and starts ordering and commanding different slaves to do their work. Joel is greatly surprised seeing his brother appearing like the whites and criticizes him for being selfish. However, Regis shows no concern and he is still loyal to his new masters and reports his daily tasks to Monsieur Jourdain. Eventually, absolutely everyone within the White House discovers Regis's reading ability and starts mocking him. They also joke about whether or not he can play the piano. To everyone's surprise, Regis plays the piano fantastically. However, he gets whipped by the whites as a result. And the subsequent morning, the two brothers flee the plantation by secretly hopping in the carriage of a Jewish guy named Isaac. After they arrived, Isaac went to them and told them that he knew they were in the carriage all along. The brothers beg him for mercy. To their surprise, Isaac offered them with amazing hospitality and care, as Jews are also a sufferer of discrimination. Soon, Monsieur Jourdain henchmen arrive at Isaac's residence searching for the two brothers. But before they could get them, Regis and Joel bid Isaac farewell and flee through the back door. They make their way to the coastline, where they take an abandoned boat and set out into the sea. Ironically, they cross paths with a ship that is used to move slaves to auctions and are caught and imprisoned. At last, the brothers end up within the same slave market, in which they are bought by Jourdain's henchmen. Fortunately, on the way back to the plantation, the brothers are saved by an African tribe known as the Maroons. Here, it is revealed that the people of the tribe were all slaves once before they fled from their owners. The two are welcomed into the tribe and they join the tribe leader to chant. However, Regis, who himself is married to a white girl, refuses to chant when the Maroons talk about killing the white. This enraged the tribe and they quickly turn on the brothers. But fortunately, Regis and Joel manage to escape the tribe safely. The next day, the two found themselves in an unknown place where they see their aunt, who cast a spell on them. The brothers quickly found out that it was she who sent them back in time. They plead with her to get rid of the spell and point out that they may do whatever for it. Initially, the old woman refuses, but gave the two brothers a hint whilst they kept pleading. She insisted that the only way to send them back to the present is to return to the plantation and reunite their ancestors Isidore and Rosalie. She additionally tells them to rectify the error without explaining further. She's likely referring to Joel trying to make out with his great-great-grandmother. Before she disappeared, she leaves behind her unique pipe and instructs the brothers to smoke it. The brothers are then seen brainstorming ways to address the situation. Joel abruptly remembers seeing what appears to be Isidore having oral sex with another man. He additionally recorded a video of the incident on his phone and shows it to Regis. The two brothers then end up convinced that Isidore is gay and that they mistakenly trust that this is the mistake that they're supposed to fix. In the next scene, Joel and Regis return back to the plantation. They attempt to negotiate with Monsieur Jourdain on their punishment. However, it does not work for them. Instead, they get branded with a sigil of the plantation. They then go back to their huts and begin to plan their next move. Meanwhile, in the mansion, the whites are celebrating the wedding party of Monsieur Jourdain's daughter. Taking this as the suitable distraction, the brothers decide to organize their own party for the slaves. They even secretly stole a rum of beer from the distillery to intoxicate and to activate the romance among Isidore and Rosalie. However, their plan begins to backfire when Regis spots Joel making out with Rosalie because of his infatuation together with her. Afterwards, the two brothers improvise and bodily assist the couple have intercourse as they're asleep. After this act, they're convinced that their mission there is complete. At this point, they think they can go home whenever they like, so they decide to take revenge on the whites. They then make their way into the mansion armed, where they humiliate everyone. Joel kisses the daughter of Monsieur Jourdain, and Regis starts damaging furniture and even slaps a white man. Suddenly, Henry enters the room with a gun and threatens the brothers. Surprisingly, Regis and Joel show no sign of fear and proceed to use the pipe. But unfortunately, nothing happens when they smoke it. It appears as if the magical pipe given by the old lady may have been replaced with a fake one. As a result of their actions, they get locked in a cage and are condemned to be executed the next day. That night, Joel and Regis get emotional and start talking about their life. Regis talks about his failing marriage while Joel confesses that he is broke and jobless. After a few hours, as the brothers are still sympathizing with each other, Henry arrives and takes them out to be executed. However, just before the execution, Monsieur Jourdain's son, Victor, runs off into the forest because he could not witness the execution. Rosalie chases after him and soon finds out that he has fallen into the nearby river. All members of the family panic and run to the scene. However, Isidore takes advantage of the situation and decides to save the brothers after knocking out Henry. He then asks them to run for their lives. As the brothers flee, they come across Victor, who is being swept by the stream. Instead of ignoring the poor boy, the two jump into the dangerous river. However, Joel cannot swim. After much difficulty, Regis manages to save both his brother and Victor. Monsieur Jourdain was so grateful to the brothers for saving his son's life. He decides to set them free. The half-brothers are also awarded with the same document of emancipation that they were provided with by their late father. But instead of accepting the freedom and the award, they request Monsieur Jourdain to present the document to Isidore and Rosalie and set them free. Monsieur was shocked at the request, but he obeyed anyway. At this point, the brothers have managed to free Isidore and Rosalie, but they still don't know where to find the magical pipe, which will help them return back to the present time. With each passing day, they slowly begin to accept the fact that they may never return to their present time. After a few days, Isidore and Rosalie wish the brothers farewell and they leave the plantation with the document. As the two watch them leave from afar, Henry approaches them and orders them to get back to work. He then takes out his pipe and starts smoking. He blows smoke in their faces as a way of humiliating them, but suddenly they disappear, leaving Henry astonished. This shows that Henry was the one who stole the pipe from them. In the next scene, the brothers return back to the present where they see their aunt beside them. After several months, Joel finds a regular job on a construction site where he still complains about his minimum wage, saying that it has to do with him being black. Meanwhile, Regis returns to his work at the town hall. One day as he leaves his office, he greets the mayor, who passes a racist joke. Regis decides to stand up to the mayor because of what he's been through. In the next scene, Regis and his wife, along with Joel and his mother, are seen chatting in Regis's living room. The two agree that the adventure they've had has brought them closer as a family. Meanwhile, their respective daughter engage in an argument, leading to the tearing of the document of emancipation. In the end, we see the two brothers in panic as they run towards their daughters. Please like and share this video to help the channel out. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching.